The content has been great. And we're live. It's another Saturday. Good morning. It is Saturday, April 6, 2024. This is Spencer Foreman along with Chris Latham. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Spence.
We were having a great conversation leading up to this because there's so many exciting things happening in the world of WordPress marketing automation. GoHighLevel, if you have that. And today I'm also a little pumped up because although it's a little chilly today, I already did my in the sun walk. Summer is in the air. Everything is almost there.
You could smell it. You could smell it.
I know it's sort of weird to put any emphasis on this at all, but you know, the last week here in Chicago was cold, wet, rainy, winter conditions. And it was really hard to overcome you wake up and you got to get your wheels turning. Whereas when I look outside and there's birds and sunshine and people and kids in strollers, and I go, sunshine, the whole thing. All right. So today we're focusing on the core of what we do, really, which is the peanut butter and chocolate of WordPress with your favorite CRM, why they need to go together and vice versa. And this is a topic that we've covered in the past roughly, but we really wanted to spend, we're going to be short today, maybe half an hour of, I'm about to sneeze, of what you are missing out on as a business owner, a freelancer, agency owner, implementer, if you are not using your favorite CRM and the features of WordPress together as a team. Yeah. And let's get a gut check. How long have you been using a CRM with your WordPress site? Do you have a recollection when this first came to your attention versus like an email product?
I'd say at least over 10 years, over a decade. It started with ActiveCampaign, and you know, my pockets weren't that deep at the time, so I quickly moved off of there and went elsewhere.
Okay, but let's use a qualification on that because this is important. This is how one of the most important relationships of my last decade is with Mr. Jack Arturo at WP Fusion, because I think WP Fusion is going on 5 years now. And I met him in the early stages. I credit Luke Stacy, who worked with me at the time, of bringing my attention to Jack and what he was doing, which connects WordPress to your favorite CRM. It supports over 50 of them. And I work directly with Jack since the very beginning of WP Fusion. It was revolutionary because unlike the old method, which was you have a world of a CRM and you have your world of WordPress, and there the two shall meet, except for some weird, I call them hacks and band-aids that companies like Infusionsoft did, where if you remember those old days, Clayton Mask, before he changed the name into Keep and took the equity money, he used to have all these third-party hacks and add-ons like Glyphy Forms and Infused Woo and Membarium and all this stuff that was just trying to connect those worlds. But WP Fusion was game over and has continued to be the one and only main solution for this. So when did you first, this is a loaded question, when did you first connect through WP Fusion your CRM with WordPress?
Honestly, I was late because like from ActiveCampaign, then it was ThriveCart had its thing for a bit where you could have your WordPress page, then you'd send them to a ThriveCart page to sell, and then ThriveCart would connect the sale back to WordPress and then back to ActiveCampaign. So it was all these extra steps you had to take, and WP Fusion has been on my radar for at least 5 years now. Right. And I took the plunge recently. I'm like, you know, let me just take the plunge, just make life easier, because I was working on a few client sites. I'm like, it's time to put on to my own products. And it just makes life easier. It's all in there. Client logs into one place. Everything is centralized and then pushes out to the CRM. No headaches, no sweat. No extra fees on top, no paying for this connecting fee, no moving this form. It just works.
Primary difference is this for those who are just coming to this conversation. What WP Fusion does essentially is it takes the user in WordPress, any WordPress site, and by the way, multiple WordPress sites if you want, and it connects the user metadata on WordPress to a contact or a lead profile object, if you will, in your CRM. Which is to say, you can now track the user's journey and experience, as well as control their user's journey and experience in WordPress using, where have my show and tell? I had my house clean this week, my show and tell stuff, using the metaphors of tags and custom fields. And not taxonomy tags, but like Spencer did this, click this, bought this, owns this, subscribe to that. The very same tags that allow you to do the automation in the CRM are now in the WordPress site and vice versa, which changes the whole game for a lot of reasons, which we're going to cover. Number one,
Yeah.
you now can have a dynamic membership experience without a membership plugin where you know somebody's space or place in your value ladder, in your upselling, in their journey through your content, your coursework, your whatever. And you can now communicate with them, not just in the CRM, like through an email, but also the website can dynamically show different things, offer different products, give encouragement and gamification. Okay, number two, and throw in a wrench anytime you want to stop me. Number two, big difference is because you've got that, you get rid of the membership plugin, but you can also get rid of some of your bullshit, sorry, French kids, analytics stuff, which have been proven to be nonsense today. Instead of worrying about this unknown strangers who show up allegedly at this page or that page, and then having to connect a million pieces to figure out whether they ever convert, because Google is lying. They're not telling you who this person is. They know who it is. They're marketing to them, but they're not telling you. Instead, you can have every single person who submits an email be known, usually take more info. That's Chris Latham who just showed up and he did this and clicked this and bought that and has access to this. And you can track his journey and you can both automate the sequences of emails, but now you can also encourage. Chris is from, the West Coast and he likes chocolate because his fiance owns a chocolatier. Now, that kind of stuff means that you really have a one-to-one relationship. And third, one of the biggest
to add to that point, as a point 5, is being able to get that information allows you to personalize the experience that much further, where the person logs in, their name's there, and you could then eventually create a club. If there's a particular group of clients that are buying the product from you 3 times a week, you could eventually figure out easily that, man, these group of people are really buying a lot, and that could be your core audience. You could ask questions with them. You could test feature products and services with them because they've bought from you 5, 10, 20 times already. You'll know who are your best customers, and that's information you're not going to get by sending out a survey. Because like some of your best customers may never open an email, but will keep buying from you. And that's that information that you're able to get with that.
I mean, it's really exactly the same as, I don't want to compare it to like the video content, but if you were in a store, let's say, for example, you walk into the store and it knows who you are because, digitally, your card, your membership card. Let's say like one of those science fiction movies, all the shelves roll around, rotate, and only show you products that you're interested in. That's exactly what you can do with marketing automation when you know the person's self-identified preferences. Spence is from Chicago. He likes yellow. He also likes chocolate. He bought this. He's already got that. He doesn't want this. Why are you going to waste his time or your time showing him offers or sales pages? Or he hates the color purple. He loves yellow. Why show him anything other than yellow on the website? Because you can tailor the whole experience to be like a concierge set up Spence's birthday party, and everything is perfect, which makes Spence, your customer or your prospect, happier, more likely to buy, makes you sell more and churn less. But more importantly, the two worlds being connected, you have all of the power and tools of email and marketing automation, whether it's GoHighLevel stuff or it's a Fluent CRM stuff. You've got all of the WordPress features and capability. Somebody can be offered various courses, or you can track their progress, or you can gamify, hey, nice try, you got an 80, but you need a 90. All of those things connect.
And this is the data that no marketing agency could get for you. No looking at some site or looking at Facebook or groups to figure out what they're going to get. This is the only information you can get, first-party data that will be living on your site. So if you got a site up and running, the best thing to do is collect that information so you can then make your marketing efforts in the future that much more tailored and that much more effective. So you're not wasting money blasting it out to the world. Like, it's great to have a billboard on top of the highway, but if your demographic walks and doesn't drive, you wasted money there.
I think the more important part too, because this cannot be emphasized enough, even if you're using an external SaaS CRM like a GoHighLevel, all of the data you own and control, because inside of WordPress, through this mechanism, using the either Launch Kit or Marketing Kit Pro and WP Fusion, you can keep all of the data about all of your customers, all your transactions, all the things they've loved and done. Now, that's not something you can do if you mentioned earlier, like I use ThriveCart. Like, I think you'd be out of your mind if you use ThriveCart in 2024 versus WooCommerce, because why would you use an external platform when you can own it and control it for yourself or your clients and do anything you need? And even if it's not just a contingency, like there's a thunderstorm and all the power went out, but just in general, we've seen what happens with your data, with breaches of security. We've seen companies abuse it now with like training AI or I mean, the world is we're evolving as human beings. I believe we're getting better, but we're going from one world to another. And in the process, that causes certain companies and certain corporate officers to act like lunatics. Why would you put yourself in the position if you had a choice otherwise?
And it all comes back to being able to control and own the data, even if it's placed elsewhere. At least you have a redundancy, which is the most important part in anything that ever happens. Because if you get locked out of your account one day, at least you still have this particular list. And this could go for anyone who's had a business partnership and then you split. At least you're able to take some of those clients with you. Or if you start a hair salon, like whatever the business is, if you have no list to take with you or no clientele to take with you when you part ways, you did everything for nothing at that point.
I mean,
And that's the benefit of having that WordPress ecosystem. It's flexible, it's open source. You could come and go as you wish. You could change different levels of the way you're set up. But I've had the pain of working with either a Dudo or Wix where all the client's information was on there and they couldn't move it out without paying an extra monthly fee for a tool that someone created just for that platform, which was more of a headache.
I mean, I think we've all seen this one way or the other. We've all seen this either in our own partnerships or when you're working with a particular company and they decide to change their rules or their costs or whatever. Why, aside from the benefits that you get anyway, why not be in a system where you have full ownership and control? And by the way, that also feeds into what you and I were talking about that we might get into a little bit today about when you're in the WordPress space, the number one premise, the best benefit of WordPress being open source software is you can, through the help of maybe of some folks like us, you can get the exact result you need or want to run your own business or your agency business or implementer business without having to accept what platforms shove down your throat. Like I so famously keep reminding everybody, I love Amazon. I can't get away from them. I have Amazon Video and Prime. Amazon Video's deal was, I'm already paying the membership. Give me my stuff ad-free. And they just decided, well, maybe we're going to start charging you. And if you don't like it, you're going to get ads. And I think to myself, that's what happens when you're on a platform. For anybody who wants to have a laugh historically, you can go back and look up Widget Laboratory and Ning, which is how I got into WordPress years ago. My famous battle taking on Mark Andreessen, the billionaire at the time, not the 100 billionaire, and his company when they acted badly towards all of their 12, 13,000 clients that myself and another guy were servicing. They just shut the whole thing down on everybody. It was like early Elon Musk days. So those are the things that you don't have to worry about when you own and control your solution, and you can move it anywhere at any time.
That's major because like it's even with clients, they'll have sites up, someone developed a site and isn't maintaining it. And then you're able to just kind of take it up and go somewhere else with it.
It's not just so for convenience too. I'm going to see if I can put our logo on. There we go. It's not just for the convenience. It's also for the customer's benefit, because you as a seller, if you are, let's say, an automator, if you are an implementer or an agency, you can make one of your best selling points. If I get hit by a bus or you don't like me, guess what? Our relationship stops and ends the moment that you've paid me. Like, you can have all of the stuff, it's yours, and I don't have to sweat it. You don't have to sweat it. Versus the shenanigans that we've all seen where somebody's locked into some spaghetti code monster built by an agency owner, and the agency owner gets into a whole, kerfluffle or whatever the word is. And it's just not the way that things should be in today's world. I think most people appreciate I would rather deal with somebody who's honest and in a real relationship that provides me value. And so this is one of the ways to get that done.
And I think one of the things about to look at it also is the benefit of being on a platform like this. It's like when you buy your first home, you'll get a starter home, but it's easy to upgrade to the next one. In this case, when you have your starter site that's built here, the next version of your site that's going to be bigger or larger, whatever the case may be, could still be built on that same platform. You're not having to migrate one thing over, and either the client's paying you or you're wasting your time having to copy paste a bunch of text over, copy paste designs over. It's already living in one ecosystem that's flexible enough to grow as your business grows.
Agreed. Right. Okay. So let's also talk about some of the nuances, because we don't have to turn this into a big deal. But one of the things that we talked about a second ago is you don't need a membership plugin. And if you are using, I can't recommend it enough, if you're using an own and control transactional engine like WooCommerce, it extends into so many other places that you can do the things that would otherwise have required third-party services, but in a way that also tracks the user's journey. For example, affiliates, right? With Affiliate WP and using the marketing automation, the WordPress site allows you to actually not only see who was referred, but to have granular level control and benefits to track links that come from somebody's affiliate's own website or special deals. You can offer different rates and different payouts. And you can literally see in the history of a customer who the referrer was and the affiliate payouts. All of that stuff is built into the same box. You don't have to pay an external service. You don't have to wire A to B to C to D.
To add on top of that, so now you're able to track which affiliates are bringing people to your site. On top of that, you could then see of the people that the affiliates brought, which affiliates people are bringing that are continually buying from you. So Bob sent 20 people your way, Michael sent 50, but of the 50, they one and done, they're not renewing, but all of Bob's people renew. You could then retarget more energy into promoting more on Bob's platform to get more people coming in. And that's the benefit of having that platform where it's on with WordPress and with the WP Fusion and connecting to your CRM. You're able to see all that information as time goes on.
I think one of the things to explain without getting too technical is, you see, the way that most of these other platforms, like a HubSpot, a Salesforce, GoHighLevel, and so forth, work is that they have to provide the pages as well as the links and the emails for people to click. So using cookies and other deliverables, they're able to see when somebody moves from A to B to C to D. Now think about this. This is a big point for anybody listening. You're spending the time and effort to build a facility. Imagine a gorgeous health club on a brand new corner of the popular intersection of town. And you've got every facility feature you want, pools and bikes and Pelotons and, massage therapists and the parking lot and every, restaurant. Why the hell would you send people down the street around the corner to pay the guy in the van and have him radio back, oh, they gave me the money? Why the hell would you use a service, some dude on the corner to keep track with a pencil and a pad of paper, like at the racetrack? Oh, I see that Chris is showing up again. Why would you use a service like Google Analytics to say random people are hanging around the outside of the building instead of they just come in and check in for free and you see their membership card with their history? Like, all of the things you want to do can happen in the building. Yeah. You own and control, that can be delivered with Launch Kit, Marketing Hub, connected in seconds, ready to go, never have to buy software again, never have to get advice anywhere else again. Whether you're pro or not, everything connects, and then you have the ability to track with email as well as their website activity, everything somebody's been doing.
And to piggyback off the analogy of the building, is your site is the building. Whenever somebody walks in, if they go to a door, they have to open the door by putting a pass. If they're getting something from the cupboard, they're opening with a pass. You get to see every single place they're going to know where to then put your marketing efforts, to know where the most of your money is going to be generating from, because we all know the Pareto principles of 80-20. 20% is where you get 80% of your benefits. So then as you're building things out, you can just focus on optimizing that 20% to make it as profitable for you as possible.
I mean, for yourself and your client, I have some smart clients, and one of them is really smart, but he's like me. He's doing a lot of stuff. And he called me up the other day and he got freaked out. And I'm going to bring this to the, why am I talking about it? He's freaked out. Like, can we use some other gateway besides Stripe connected to WooCommerce? Because WooCommerce offers this ability with no fees, no overhead other than the transactional engine, if you set it up right, versus Gumroad, which has the cojones to charge 10% flat fee on top of the 2.9% and 30 cents. Now, there's a very smart couple of people on the internet that use Gumroad and talk about it. One of these guys I was tweeting with, who made $1.5 million from his thing that he's doing online. I won't say his name, but he's very smart. $1.5 million from his shtick. It's $150,000 in fees to Gumroad. And I said to him in a tweet, and he didn't answer because either he gets it or he's getting a discount. It's like, you paid $150,000 to the people that took the number and put it in your bank that you could have done already for free. Like, that's on top of the other 2.9%.
To make things worse, when you look at Gumroad, most people are just putting PDF files, a zip file. It's not these massive libraries of documents, and I could see the pain point for some people. It's like, I don't want to build something. I want something that's up and running that works. But if you're running a business, you can't be short-sighted. You got to have a long vision, because to pay $150K, you could have paid 6 developers to build you 6 different sites for $150K.
Well, the scale of like video. Okay, you and I, and I'm going to get back to my client's example. The magic. We can have a live 4K, if this wasn't the 720 version, 4K stream around the world live. Like this, when I was not that much younger, this was $10 million of technology to make happen. Yeah. We can do this for free. I'm on free StreamYard. If I wasn't cheap, and if I didn't think people would be annoyed by having to stream the extra bandwidth, I would just do the 4K, but nobody needs to see you and me, my face in 4K, right? So back to my client example, because it has to do with like the technology is now, here comes the $5 word, ubiquitous. It's everywhere. My client's a smart guy. He somehow or another saw the 2.9% plus 0.30, and he just, like I would have done, read it as $3. So in his head, he was thinking it was like he's paying 5.9% or something. And he's like, it's over 5% for Stripe. Can't we do something cheaper? And I said, I think you're wrong. And then I pointed it out because Stripe has this giant, banner. Where in the world could you get a system that we can deliver to you for $97 hosted, 47 not, that allows you, with, by the way, CRM built in, because if you want to use GoHighLevel, otherwise you have Fluence here. For 47 and 90, where can you get a system that allows you or your client to have every single high-end feature for delivering, whether it's membership, market automation, whether it's e-learning, e-commerce, streaming video, whether it's tracking, like every single business system you ever wanted, owned and controlled on the best, most popular platform in the world, CMS, WordPress, running 44 to 47% of the whole internet. No obligation other than a 2.9% plus 30-cent transaction fee. You own it, control it, take it with you. Nobody can hold you hostage. Like, I could make a list. This would be like, if somebody could turn marriage into this, I might decide to get married again. But like, for those of us who are on the other side of it and seeing the dark side of technology is when you use a SaaS company and they screw you over. X.
And you're talking about where else could you find something like this? It doesn't exist, because to create something like this, your business model can't just be the one-time sell of the product. You have to find some way to get a recurring income coming from that person. That's where they're going to charge that extra percent, which makes perfect business sense. But on our end, if we're going to be frustrated by something of that, we're not going to go build the exact same thing and then take money from that same person in that sense. We understand that if you're an implementer, if you're a business owner, you shouldn't be punished for being successful. Let's just get you the tool that works and you make your money hand over fist and just pay Stripe.
The issue on that, I mean, you touched there with me, is like, so of the two columns of CRMs that keep track of your contact, there's the plugin, which we recommend exclusively, Fluent CRM, which is for many people the best and the only solution. Of the SaaS solutions, GoHighLevel is why I have a relationship with them. They stand alone because they understand that one point you just made, which is, why should you be penalized by paying incrementally, exponentially more every time you just add somebody to your list or your customers to? And why should
you add another team member to your company as well?
Right. Like, why should you be penalized for having more customers who succeed? Why not just have the agency unlimited sub accounts? Because they understand, and they're not lying about it. That's why I love GoHighLevel too, of the SaaS solutions. They understand the entrepreneurial human value proposition of, listen, Alexander Graham Bell, I know that cable to my house is connected, delivering electrons and, protons and stuff to my house. Don't try to convince me that it costs you more money because I'm watching one more video on Netflix this month, because that's what the Xfinity's trying to bullshit you. And that's what they used to do with the cell phones when you wanted to send a text
SMS,
25 seconds. Like, no, you're lying. You're lying. I know everyone knows you're lying. And this is what's happening. Believe it or not, it's double, triple, quadruple down now in the SaaS world, where the active campaign went out of control, raised prices 300% post-COVID. You've got companies like Salesforce, $17,000 a year for a basic contract for making people watch YouTube videos with their consultant. And then
you got HubSpot, starts off cheap and free, and then you're leaped into this $2,000 a month plan.
HubSpot starts with 1,000 people for your basic $250 a month, and then it goes up to like $1,500, $3,000. And listen, Dharmesh deserves to have another Lamborghini Quattro or something, but you can do this in Fluent for free with what we're offering. And it's as good or better because that one premise. Now, I want to say the dark side of WordPress. The dark side of WordPress is the people in WordPress who've been here, like myself, for 20 years have started to catch up with what the rest of the world is offering. And so there's a few really profitable, well-intentioned original companies who have gone to the dark side now. And well, if HubSpot can do it, why shouldn't I do it? And they've started to wrap up their open source software with a bunch of nonsense. And we're going to discuss that more in other shows. But like the offset is what we're doing with the kits. We're saying,
And that's the added benefit of the WordPress ecosystem is if you're a business owner or you're an implementer and you want to find where's the place I could go to that would have the highest percentage of honest people that aren't there trying to screw me over, it would only be the WordPress platform. Like the chance of you finding someone on HubSpot, because they got to make their money back, so they can't afford to give it to you at a discount. Finding someone on Salesforce for ActiveCampaign, they all going to make money back. And we should understand as a business with WordPress that you have a higher chance to find people that are honest, that are not there to screw you over. And if they're trying to make money, it's a 5-10%, or just selling your service or selling you the additional service of supporting you while your business grows. But they're not here trying to make money off you using the platform.
nobody should be made to feel guilty for making a living or charging profit. What my grandfather taught me, I talk about this all the time, is that, you know, as a spiritual being having a human existence in a capitalized system. I mean, capitalistic system is, I love it. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 10 years old. At the heart of every place you make money, you should keep in mind, at least this is my ethos. This is my code, my moral code, my ethics in business as well. Everybody should be treated with the golden rule. And if you feel as a corporate officer or running a big company that it's okay to bend the rules and treat people with a level of disdain or disrespect for their common sense or for what's fair or for what's honest in order to squeeze more money to please your shareholders or to push yourself up the ladder, that's between you and your spiritual guides or whatever you feel is the thing that, you know, hovers over you in your daily life. But for me, the one thing about WordPress, the guarantee, which is why I can say that even though there's a few bad actors in WordPress, I can do something about it, is that I can promise everybody that the legal, moral, and ethical basis of WordPress in open source allows me and you and other people to counterbalance any bad actors and do it publicly, transparently, and do it in a way that allows us to profit handsomely along with you, our customers. In other words,
it's all about running an honest business.
Of your profit margin would never in a billion years cross my mind unless it was something that I was delivering. Like I'm the cash register and I'll do all the work and I'll keep 10%. But 10% for just offering you a page that delivers something, or to do the kind of upsell nonsense, or I'm going to steal your data nonsense, or I'm going to train AI on your stuff, or I'm going to take open source software and wrap it up in a bunch of complicated, scary messages. No. So what we're doing is saying, and there's a large group of us in WordPress, we're saying WordPress at the flea market is hard to comprehend. There's so many choices, so many options, so many, who's the person to trust? We're curating it, boxing it, delivering it as a platform, but with full ownership and control that you can plug in and you can own it for as little, like a sample today, $47 a month, 97 hosted with support, $297 unlimited. And you can get on to making hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, even more for yourself or your clients without us having to take advantage of you, because the thing we're selling is the relationship.
And the benefit there too is what we're selling is saving you the time and headache of having to do research. If you've been like myself trying to find a new earbuds online, you're researching all these different companies, all the different products, then they have like 20 different makes, then you're finding the reviews, you're wanting, let's get that headache out. You got something that she knows works, it's curated, everything talks to each other, everything works well together. One thing's not going to break something else. And you can just focus on running your business, building your business, or just building the stuff, the products and sites for your clients without having the headache of, is this going to work? Do I got to go test it out somewhere else? There's too much of an option, which is a gift and a curse about WordPress being so flexible and open. There's a million options, but at the same time, it's easy to get distracted.
I think the takeaway, to just give people a visual, because today we decided we're going to keep it kind of short, is that there's businesses we all know and love. I use these as a constant reference. Everybody everywhere around the world has been to an IKEA store. I think most westernized, residents. Everybody has seen or heard probably of Legos, and maybe even a Lego retail store. But like IKEA in particular, I used to build luxury houses and we would often go furnish them with stuff from IKEA. When you go to IKEA, all of the, IKEA behind me all day long, everybody has IKEA in their house. You get all the products flat packed. that are in showrooms to show you where they go with other stuff. But if you bought something today, it would go with stuff you bought 25 years ago from IKEA. If you go there, there's a person in a yellow vest and there's food in the food court. The experience of going there guarantees you 3 promises, which is what we're doing with the kits and with the other things, delivered at WP Launchify. WordPress has all of the most incredible parts, people, and services you want, but it's too random to do it on your own, even if you're a professional. I've spent 24/7, 7 days a week for 20 years, and I'm like a kid in a candy store every day at WordPress, and even I cannot keep up with the changes often because it happens so cool and so rapidly. But having somebody who is running this curated IKEA, that's what it's like to come to Launchify and use the kits. You have every answer figured out, which products to use. The products have been curated to fit and work as features, and they're flat packed with universal language instructions, guaranteed, versus if you randomly buy it from some person at the flea market or chop a tree down, good luck, even as a professional. That's first promise. Second promise is the ethos of what we're selling, the personal guarantee, the relationship part. We're selling a relationship. It's not the code. Open source is different. It is literally no different than, I like to say it, I made an example yesterday. Somebody wants to go do some research. They get a public grant for $10 million to come up with a cure for, lead poisoning from pencils. Okay. Along the way, they discover something that's worth $100 trillion if sold to a private company. They can't do it. They signed up for taking the public money so that the research would lead to a public good. That was what insulin was supposed to have been way back when. Similarly, everybody who has something on WordPress, they don't talk about it. They try to pretend that it's not true. But the truth is, if you have stuff that runs on WordPress, it is open source. So nobody should be pretending to sell the code. The code is everyone's, which is why we and anybody else can take it and bundle it and do anything they want with it, including removing some of the shenanigans that these private companies put. Because what they are able to do is they can sell their convenience, their support, their copyrightable materials, which is not the software. It could be like their instruction manuals or something. That's it. And number 3, the difference in the world going forward between technology and human relationships, which is kind of the same thing, but for a different reason. I don't think any of us should pretend for a second that like selling software that runs on a screen is going to last forever. I mean, we're moving to headsets, we're moving to audio devices, implanted chips. There's going to be embeddable everything with AI. I mean, there's going to be robots, hopefully, nice robots.
Jetson's life.
but I'm just saying, what I think anybody who's in business should think about, if you're an implementer, an agency owner, stop selling software that runs on a screen, because the days of this are numbered, and I make my living from this. Start thinking about building relationships with human beings and being the person who solves their problems for them with the tools of today and going forward. Because I guarantee you, as a Gen Xer, that everybody my age and older is like thrilled to pay a professional to get on a ladder, paint the house, do their taxes, handle their divorce, babysit their children, clean their floors. There's a million things that we just would rather hire or have somebody help us with. That's what you should be selling.
And this goes back to basic sales, right? I'm not selling you a hammer to hit a nail. What I'm selling you is a hammer so that you could build a crib to keep your kid safe. I'm selling you a hammer so you could build a closet so that your clothes are organized and they're not being caught up with dust. I'm selling you a hammer so that you could build a home or a place that keep your family safe, away from the weather, from the rain and the snow. And that's what the hammer does. You're not selling them the tool, but you're selling them the outcome and what can happen from having you as the implementer, or at least these particular tools that we're talking about. And that's what we could say Wix does very well. Wix does that very well in their marketing, and so does Squarespace. And we've all had the pain of having to move someone over to the WordPress side as they grew. And us on our side, we need to do the same thing as Wix and Squarespace and sell the outcome, not the actual tool.
I love that you brought up, that's a Seth Godin thing, right? So that's, like Seth Godin's one of my champions of marketing. I've been following him for 30 years. It's amazing. But the point is, Purple Cow marketing all the way up to today is take that idea of you're selling. Why does somebody need the picture hung on the wall that you're selling in the drill or the hammer to put up? And you'll find that they really just want the emotional response of seeing their family. That's why they're grinding away at work. Well, similarly, somebody's trying to build a business online. They may come to you as they do for me because some plugin is giving them a headache. But the truth is they really just wanted somebody to help them like get their business thing going. And if you are available in that way, you will shock yourself with how many people there are who are just so ready to do this, because that entire, I don't know where it is between Gen X and otherwise, but like Gen X and above, 45 or so and up, like 1,000% they're ready to take their credit cards out and pay you to just, can you do this for me? Like for real. So that's the bulletproof way of coming back around to where we started. And we'll wrap it up on this. Like why you need to use WordPress with your CRM is because you could have an internal CRM, you can use an external like GoHighLevel, but you own and control everything. You have the ability to offer relationships that will build into something that will be bulletproof for the future as technology changes. And ultimately for yourself or your clients has this leverage point of like, why are you spending hundreds or thousands of dollars a month on other tools and services that remove you from owning and controlling or add the complexity versus the alternative?
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that today, because it's sunny and I know we started late, so we're going to end early, but hopefully we did about 36 minutes. What, is there anything else we should add, or you think we covered it pretty well?
That's the gist of it. It's, if you're a client and you're working with an agency, I'd say definitely reach out to them and see to make sure that you own all the stuff that are at least set up onto your site, or if not, reach out to one of us to get WP Launch Kit set up onto your site, just so that you don't have the headache of keeping things maintained. Because just like a car, just like your phone, you have to bring it in for checkups. You got to get the oil change. And if you're not doing that with your site, things will break at some point. And the last thing you want is that breaking on a big marketing push where you know you're going to make some money in return and the software and the site breaks down. I've dealt with that with a client recently, so it's fresh in my heart and soul right now.
Well, we're going to share more stuff because the technology that we've been delivering has been done. Now, I started the kits have been going on forever in one form or another, but like the official, what we're offering is this deliverable. Incredibly great response because it works so well. For the $97 or the $297 if you want to do agency, the $97 is all the things that everybody needs. It's the full software bundle. So again, without having to go buy it elsewhere, it's got the full unlimited email support. Spence, I have a question. How do I do this? And it's not about the plugin. It's about the business. It's about the features. It's got the built-in site, which is set up with all the software like a platform. So you have either as a usable site or as a model, this is how it should run, even if you're hosting it yourself. But then with the other tools that allow you to get all the software updated, along with the other capability of the full documentation, you can also add a la carte support, right? You can add an hour of support or a couple weeks, so you don't have to go elsewhere for the help you need and the 20 plus years of sensibility as well as expertise coming from the top of WordPress down. Along with that goes all this brand expertise about the various CRMs. If you happen to be using GoHighLevel, or if you use even one of the other SaaS CRMs, guess what? This is the place to come if you've been frustrated for how to make those worlds come together. Literally as easy as snap together. Within an hour, you're up and running, and you've got the sensibility that you don't have to go spend. By the way, I say this, and this will be my last thing. The internet is amazing, but WordPress moves so fast, and this topic is so cutting edge. You could look up some instructions from 3 months ago, and it could be wrong. Wrong. It'd be like AI. Like if you looked up like, oh, AI 3 months ago, and it's like, there's a crayon drawing and now there's a 4K video, right?
We're living in a world where you have to adapt or get left behind.
You need to have somebody who is at the bleeding edge to explain to you, this is what's happening today in the last 12 hours, because that's how fast it moves. All right. I want to say thanks, Chris, for joining me. You and I are going to be coming out with a lot more stuff that we're not going to talk about today, because the products and services around this for both the WordPress community and the CRM community have proven themselves to be infinitely valuable. Those of us who make our livelihood or run our businesses on these tools benefit from what's happening. It's really exciting days. But what I think my superpower is, and I know you've decided that you're going to help or join me and bring your superpower, is together we can cover a lot of territory that people otherwise are frustrated on. So we're going to continue with that path. I look forward to sharing more.
Likewise. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
Ciao.